Welcome along. We bring you our first session here on Fooltime. Big good morning going out to all of you out there. Of course, welcome along to the show. We'd like to send a shout out going out to our sponsors, Racetrack Motors, down there on Grey Street. Want to send a big kia ora going out, of course, to our man Reno Wilkinson joining us up there in Paidle. Kia ora, bro.
Yeah, morena, boys. Good to be back here on this beautiful Saturday morning, and you're back with our Full-Time.
Indeed. Also joining us from over there in Australia, we have our man JT, Jason Tawhiwhirangi. Morena, bro.
Hi, morena, Keithy. Morena to you, Reno, there in Paidle, and to everyone out there listening. Have a happy Saturday. Indeed.
Great weekend, hopefully we're looking forward to. Anyway, now, Jace, I know that you've been, I don't know whether you would call it concern or you've been keeping abreast of some of the changes that are happening in Tūranga, on Tūranga FM, eh? Or at least
there's a bit of, hey mate, I did hear the word breast. So, yeah, I'm all about that, and the thighs down from KFC.
Yep.
Yeah, but times ahead, I saw Walter put a post up about an announcement being made, and you've let the cat out of the bag. He's going to be moving to the Soul Train or the Groove Train or something in the evenings.
The Night Train.
The Night Train. Sorry.
So, yeah, that's going to be a bit of well, that's an interesting move, I think, seeing him move. But you know, I guess in a way, one of the things is that he can look forward to, Reno, would be not having to get up early hours of the morning, eh?
Yeah, that's a hard thing. As most people know, I've been hosting a breakfast show here at ABFM in Paidle for, I don't know how many years now, Keithy. Many years, just as long as the Wiz. And I think to adjust to the body and everything to get up, and I'm guessing most times at night, he's getting ready to have a morning nice and early so he can get up and be ready for his breakfast show. But, hey, that's just how it is, how, life changes you, and adjusting to the nights. I know he's a busy man at night. He loves entertaining and being out there with the crowd and doing his thing as he does. And, yeah, it is a big change to hear that all come on through. I was like JT when I seen it on his Facebook status. I saw end of an era. I'm thinking, oh, no, another one of the old schoolers are finishing up within the Iwi Radio Network, because there's not many of us left now, mate.
No.
This young lot are coming on through and being introduced to the industry, and I know I'm up in Whitireia at the training coming up on the 19th and 20th. It'll be interesting to see the new kids on the block coming through with an Iwi Radio. But I want to wish Wiz all the best on the night show there and the night train, and be interesting. Will be very, very interesting. I look forward to watching some of his live stuff in studio on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, you'll be almost one of the kaumātua around an Iwi Radio now, Reno?
Yeah. Well, when you think of today, 6 more days to go, 9th of March when I started back in way back in the day. So 30 years, mate. That's a long time. I feel like a dinosaur. Wow. And, yeah, it's interesting to see how Iwi Radio's progress on the days of the 45s, 72s, 33s. What I'm talking about is records, and then come on through the cassette tapes and then the CDs, then obviously where we are now in the digital world. But, I've seen progress over the years. Some go and move on to other and bigger things and come back to radio. Seen some sad ones pass away, but very, very few of us now keep the, I'm talking about Ra. I met Ra way back in the early 90s, and they still got the same haircut, I see. So nothing changes there. And, it's just the way it is. Just good to share the knowledge now, mate. And I know Wiz has been around for a long time. And, good on him. Good on him to hang in there, mate. And guys like yourself, Keithy, I know I met you through the industry, and you're out there, and, you're still wearing your little portai, mate. So don't change that.
Oh, never will, mate. And also, JT, I know you've had a little bit of experience. Certainly nothing like the experience Reno has, but you've certainly had a little bit of a taste in radio, haven't you?
Yeah, it stems back to about 1987, I think, when Radio Ngāti Pro first started up. Still on school holidays during the summer period, and they asked for some volunteers, so I went down there, and back then, mate, there was the Jolly Solly show, which was Paul Solid, one of the local identities up in Ruatoria. Nanny Matek Highway had a show going. Nancy Loft, who I think had a stint at 89 FM later on in life. Yeah, mate, so go back to that for that. Sort of got me interested. I finished my schooling and then got involved with a radio training course. That's where I first met Ra back in 1990, I think, with Russell Braithwaite. We ran a little training station there called 96.2 FM, the Sound Alternative. And then from there we progressed to the Kakano with Bruce Byrne and Penny Westrup. And so that's where Ra was on that one again. And it was Ray Ropata, Teresa Wells was on that one as well. Daryl, Ahuriri, the late Hane Kepa, Medi Tepa, just trying to think of the names, mate. So there was a few of us on that one, and then that's obviously progressed into what we have now with the likes of you and Walter and everyone else involved with Tūranga FM and Matai. So, mate, yeah, it's an interesting journey. Sometimes I wonder if I had stuck with it, where would I be now? But you get dealt different cards in life, and I've got an opportunity to come to Australia, and I thought, that's me, I'm out of here. But good to see the likes of yourselves and Reno further up the line and keep the flame burning, and mate, you're doing some good work, and well done to you all involved in the iwi radio industry.
Now, I also remember seeing or recall seeing on Facebook that your old mate, is it Willie James, he's also kind of like, is he hosting a show himself over there in Aussie?
Yeah, so Monday mornings he's on a show on a Brisbane radio station here from 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. So, bright and early in the morning for him. Monday mornings. So he talks, he's just pretty much, I think it's a spawn on Fooltime, mate. He gets on there and talks lots of interest. Someone else finds interesting and has a bit of a cordial and a lot of laughing. So I've had the pleasure of ringing up and having a bit of a chat to him for a couple of minutes on the show there. And yeah, mate, it's good. So we've a bit of a presence for our people over here in Australia.
So did Fooltime introduce him to that passion of going into radio, or was he always been doing stuff like that?
Oh, look, I'm not going to let the truth stand in the way of a good story. Of course it's Fooltime based. There was a switch ignited in his brain, and he said, look, I've got to go on radio. I'm a natural at it. And, lo and behold, here he is 3 or 4 months later. He's got his own show, and, mate, he's kicking goals. Indeed.
Great stuff. Because I remember when he first came on Fooltime, it was great to be able to talk to him. And I know he, what was he? He was definitely a Broncos follower, isn't he? And
yeah, definitely. Mate, I remember listening. We did the big build-up to Willie. Willie James, and he goes, kill it, bro. Oh, thinking to myself, come on, Willie. But he got through in the end, and another interesting thing about that was he talked about the Broncos, and he goes, I like the Broncos. They've got a lot of good players. They've got a lot of Polynesian brothers. I think he was going to slip in another word there, which I won't repeat online. Please, at the top man, one of the best entertainers over here in Australia.
Yeah.
Been doing it for up nearly 40-odd years, so, yeah, very good.
Yeah, excellent stuff. And of course, he still does is it the Gizzy Day over there too, eh?
Yeah, very much the main man in terms of organising the Gizzy Day, and a couple of other little events too. He's got a couple of still regular singing gigs he does. One of them on a Sunday morning, I think, at one of the markets here, so you can catch him up bright and early on a Sunday morning for about 3 or 4 hours, and another one once a month at one of the fish and chip shops up around South Brisbane. Once a month, and that gets a lot of people, a lot of the people from home go along with feed and listen to Willie sing, and mate, what we do here, he talks a lot of the brown stuff as well, which is always good for a laugh.
I'm sure he does. Hey, well, we had him on our show, so he was certainly in good company, I dare say. Anyway, let's move on to a bit of sport. Of course, we had a couple of rugby games last night, Reno?
Yeah, into week 3, mate, and everyone's whacked out week 1 and 2. That's done dusted last night. Actually, 20-odd years where it all started for the Hurricanes. They ventured back into, familiar territory down in Palmerston North, the Essential Energy Trust Stadium. I tell you what, even though there was a bit of history there, 20-odd years I've played there, and it was like watching history all over again, watching the Canes. It was a great game. Just throwing the ball around, just letting their skills come on through. And, we saw Big Nani get 3 tries. Great to see Colsey back out there, made in 2 tries, one of those on the wing, showing some of the wingers how to score it and dive in the corner, feet up in the air, stuff you see in the NRL and everything like that. But that was a good win. Everyone thought the Brumbies were in with a shot after demoralising the Chiefs. But, they got pretty shut down, 43-13, 30 points of difference there. And the Canes of old, mate. And everyone would have been impressed with watching that game last night.
Yeah, well, obviously, it was obviously a good game. Big thrashing, considering that the Hurricanes, of course, they went down to the Crusaders last weekend. And of course, I think it was the Brumbies who toasted up the Chiefs last weekend too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You're right. And I think that's just turned around a week later, and now the Brumbies are feeling like the Chiefs were when they toasted them up, because the exact same thing happened to the Brumbies. So we're talking halfway through the week, halftime, and anything's possible on these days now. And you just take one game at a time. Everyone would have thought the Brumbies were in there with a shot against the Canes, but the Canes came out and played and just showed there would have been no team that would have been able to beat the Canes last night. They were just on form, throwing the ball willy-nilly. Everything just seemed to work. Yeah, it was just well put together, and they deserved that win. And 30 points, it could have been even more, mate. Yeah. But they were really on last night.
Because they got up quite early, didn't they? I mean, they were ahead within about the first, was it 5-10 minutes? They were up in a big way.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, the machine was just running, but that's another week done for them, and the Canes will go home, and seems to be a pretty good playing field for them down there in Palmerston in front of their, one of their franchises, Manawatu, the Turbos.
Yes, yeah.
But next week they'll take on, back in Wellington, they've got the Highlanders, so that'll be another tough one for them next week for the Canes.
Indeed. And talking about the Highlanders, of course, they got beaten last night by the Rebels. I don't know if it was kind of a shock for the Highlanders fans. Maybe. What do you reckon there, Reno?
Yeah, maybe for the fans, obviously, but this Rebels team's been running hot, and ex-Tokoro boy now playing, of course, back there. Quade Cooper was the telling moment at the end there with his offload, and the Rebels snuck home 24-19. So, yeah, one of those games could have gone either way, but you would have thought the Landers might have got over them. But, hey, there's a big support behind this Rebels team, which is good to see in Melbourne. Obviously, we know a stronghold for the AFL, and they've got the Storm team up there, JT's team, but good to see the Rebels come through. Rewind the clock back all those years ago, they were down at the bottom. But now they're up there and competing this year. And, yeah, this whole competition's really open because we've talked about it before, the end of the year World Cup, and some of the players been rested. But good on the Rebels. Deserved their win last night against the Highlanders, 24-19. Big game just down the road this evening. The Chiefs will be hosting the Sunwolves. It's been good to see the Japanese fans following their team, and should be a big night, actually. The weather's good here, so hopefully we'll see a lot of running. Also tonight, the Reds and the Crusaders at Suncorp. That's going to be a big game, actually. I was talking to you at halftime, and I'm thinking the Reds might pull an upset there. Then, of course, tomorrow, the Lions and the Bulls, the Sharks and the Stormers.
Yeah. Let's go back to the Highlanders. Now, one of the things, and I think I mentioned this right from the very get-go before when the season first started, is about the All Blacks not being allowed to play. And, of course, they had a number of key, Ben Smith, Aaron Smith, and I think it was Luke Whitelock, who were stood down for the Highlanders games against the Rebels. And one of the things that I don't like is the fact that it kind of, in my opinion anyway, it disturbs, I think, the flow, it disturbs the continuity, especially if you're just, standing down All Blacks just for a World Cup. I mean, I just don't like it. I know we discussed this on Wednesday as well there, Reno, but I'm just, I think that kind of plays into the loss, but it just doesn't help with Super Rugby overall. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, you're mostly right, Keithy. Look, you take a look at one key man at half, which is Aaron Smith came on against the Chiefs, and look what he sparked. He got the winning try.